Hello, movie lovers. Today I'm going to begin my videos covering a recent Arrow release of 4 Claude Chabrol movies from late in his career, which they're entitling Twisting the Knife. And this follows only weeks after Chabrol's another 5-film box set, Lies and Deceit, and I did videos on all 5 of those films, and I do have a playlist on that is covers all of the videos that I've done on Claude Chabrol movies. And the first one on the film that I'm going to be talking about today is The Swindle with Isabelle Huppert and Michelle Serrault. The set also including The Flower of Evil, Nightcap, and The Color of Lies. And includes a terrific book, a nice, thick and very meaty book with some terrific essays in them. At least the essay I read on The Swindle, I really enjoyed a lot. And the Swindle is about this a pair of con artists played by Michelle Serrault. He's Victor, and Isabelle Huppert, she's Betty, and they swindle. Their MO is they go to conventions. Betty seduces a likely Mark and takes him to the hotel, drugs him. They take the money, but they're kind of humorous and not all that greedy criminals. They only take like half the money, but it's very lucrative. They can live a good lifestyle, but they're minor league con artists. And we never know whether they're father and daughter. At one point, Betty calls Victor Papa. Whether they've been lovers, whether they're still lovers, there's a great deal of ambiguity in their relationship, and which Chabrol wants us to feel this ambiguity. Who exactly are what kind of relationship do these two have with each other? As Michelle Serrault is, I think, in his late 60s, and Isabelle Huppert was in her mid-40s, but I mean, she doesn't look like it. She looks like she's about 30 years old. So the age difference is kind of significant. But again, they're minor league they don't want to go into the big time. There's too much danger in the big time. But then Betty kind of goes rogue, and she develops her own con, and this involves a money launderer, courier, played by Francois Cluzet, and Victor doesn't really know what is she up to. We don't know either. We don't understand who exactly is conning who. And it can be very humorous, and there's some Hitchcockian moments throughout the film, and certainly this valise full of $5 million Swiss francs is really like the MacGuffin of the film. And it's also a bit of a travelogue. So we get we get scenes in ski resorts of Salisbury, and then we go to Guadeloupe, the tropical island Guadeloupe. And the film, in many ways, because the villain is played by a character by the name of Mr. K, and there was a Dr. K in an earlier Claude Chabrol film when he was making spy movies. Akim Tamarov played that, and that too was a kind of a travelogue. So he's kind of Chabrol is kind of looking back at his early career with a kind of humorous eye, because those were films that he presumably had to make for commercial reasons when his films were flopping. And there's also this autobiographical sense to the movie that also makes it kind of fun, because for some reason Chabrol said this is his most autobiographical film, and you wonder what? But then Victor is sort of setting up deals as if he were setting up movies. And then when unforeseen circumstances happen, he is the problem solver. He's got to figure out everything. He is sort of the role of a director. And Betty is basically sort of the actress in his con. she has many different disguises. It's a funny motif in it where she keeps taking off her wigs, and you wonder what actually is her real hair. And and we get a interview in the supplements. There's great supplements here, and with Isabelle Huppert, where she discusses her 7 films she made with Claude Chabrol, and she discusses her working relationship with him, what it was like on the set, how much fun it was to make movies, and especially this movie was a lot of fun. But she also has such a deep understanding of Claude Chabrol's movies and why she thinks they are still significant. As much as any critic or film historian, she's probably the most convincing of all in her opinions that Claude Chabrol is one of the major directors of French cinema. And then we get an interview with Chabrol's stepdaughter, Cécile, and the daughter of Chabrol's second wife, who was his script girl, as the nomenclature was in those days for many of Claude Chabrol's films. And his films are very much a family affair. His son, Thomas Chabrol, is here again in a real small part in the Swindle, but he's in many of Chabrol's movies. One of his other daughters works on the script with him. And she talks for about 30 minutes, and it's just a delightful, she just has such great memories of Chabrol and what it was like. And she, too, really understood the significance of his movies in a way that you don't get from historians and commentators and such. We also get, as we did in Lies and Deceits, Claude Chabrol did scene-specific commentaries that last about 25 minutes or so, where he looks at various scenes in the film. That his comments on that are more technical at why he was shooting. Claude Chabrol is one of the most cinematically interesting directors, I think, in the history of cinema, in the way he framed his scenes, and and Cécile. In her interview, says that was Chabrol's greatest interest. How do you frame a scene? What information do you put in the scene? What angles do you use? So these scene-specific commentaries by Chabrol are really great. And then we get a full commentary from Barry Forshaw and Sean Hagen, and it's a conversational kind of. I prefer one commentator, but they have a lot of information about the movie, and but it's mostly their own interpretations of the movie. Then we get another terrific interview, and I'm going to attempt to say her name. No, I don't think I will. It's just too hard. But she has written a book called Claude Chabrol, The Aesthetics of Opacity. And this supplement is called Soap Bubble. And I've got to get that book. There's hardly anything on Chabrol. There's a book of interviews on Chabrol. I have read, I just recently finished his Guy Austin's book on Claude Chabrol, which goes up to 1997. The Swindle is the last film that he covers, as the book was written shortly thereafter. And it's essential. If you like Claude Chabrol movies, I highly recommend this book. But in this interview with the author of The Aesthetics of Opacity, and opacity is often used by commentators on Chabrol movies, the opaqueness of it, the mystery of human behavior, the mystery of human relationships. Chabrol is non-judgmental. He doesn't. What are we to think of these characters? We're not meant to judge them. We're part of the. Chabrol wants us to be part of the movie. He's one of those directors that just draws you into, like you're actually there within the movie. As far as how did The Swindle go, how does it fit into Claude Chabrol's career? It's his 50th movie. You would have thought, well, this is going to be a masterpiece, because hardly any directors go to 50 movies anymore, even in 1997. And Chabrol wanted to keep working. I want to make films. I want to be a filmmaker films movies. So it was a disappointment because it followed La Cérémonie, which was the big hit, both commercially and especially critically, the Cahiers du Cinéma, which had dismissed Chabrol for his so-called commercial films, and they weren't, Chabrol did not make masterpieces in the sense that, oh, this is going to be my masterpiece, like people might have thought that was his 50th movie, this is going to be special. Instead, he comes up with a playful, seemingly non-serious movie. But there is a lot going on in this movie. For those of us who really love the cinematic language of Claude Chabrol. So this movie disappointed, and as far as La Cérémonie, that's missing from either of these two sets, and I don't believe it's on Blu-ray, but it is on the Criterion channel, as well as a couple more Chabrol movies that are not on Blu-ray. But Guy Austin, along with many other critics, believe that La Cérémonie is probably one of his masterpieces, and certainly the masterpiece of his late film career. Okay, so that's the first of the Claude Chabrol movies, and I'll be going on with those. I really enjoyed. I'd seen this before. Michel Serrault, always great. You might know him. Older people probably know him from playing Albin in the La Cage aux Folles, the original version of La Cage aux Folles. He played it on stage with Inspector Lavardin, the actor who played Inspector Lavardin, and a great stage actor. Isabelle Huppert, just one of the great icons of, I hate using that word icon, but I think she definitely is one of the great icons, not just of French cinema, but of cinema in general. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen to me. I appreciate it. Comments are always welcome.